Now, I want to show you something. There's an organisation called the European Broadcasting Union, and every year they ask 1,000 people in each European country about whether they trust the printed press in that country. So let's look at some of the recent results. Here's 2009. Most trusted: Luxembourg, Portugal, Czech Republic, Netherlands, Austria, so forth. Down here, we're getting to Poland and North Macedonia, Latvia. And then right at the bottom here, last, and by all means least, the United Kingdom. Let's see 2010. Now, here we go again, Netherlands, Austria, and all that. And down here at the bottom, in last place, the United Kingdom. Let's do 2011. No, we're still down at the bottom in 2011. Lowest degree of trust in printed media in Europe, the United Kingdom. 2012, please. Ah, we've gone up one. We've got above Greece. Oh, that's terrific. Fleet Street's heart must be swelling with pride. 2013. Oh, we're down again. 2014. 2015. 2016. Oh, come on. 2017. 2018. Look! We're above North Macedonia and Greece. Oh, makes you proud to be English. Let's see 2019. Oh. It's not very good, really, is it? So why is trust so low in British newspapers? I think we need an expert, and fortunately we've got one. He's a professor of communications at the University of Westminster, and he's Steve Barnett, and he's actually rather nice. Ah, you've got a kitty. You like it?
I'm gonna hand the kitty over to you.
I'm charged of the kitty.
You're the Bond villain.
Now, tell me, Steve, why is trust so low in printed media?
And I think there are essentially two reasons. The first is that we have long had a tradition in the UK that our broadcast journalism are bound by rules of accuracy and impartiality.
Our broadcast?
Yeah. So if you're working in broadcasting, you know that there are rules that you've got to tell the truth, you've got to back it up with facts, but also you've got to give both sides of the argument. Whereas at the press, for generations, you can essentially say what you want. Now, there's nothing wrong with being opinionated, as long as people are aware that there is a difference between the news pages where you expect to see facts and the opinion pages where people can sound off and say anything they want. But I think the other reason, the other reason is the complete lack of any genuine regulation in the press. So in broadcast journalism, you know that if you get it wrong, badly wrong, and if you start sounding off with your opinions, people will complain to Ofcom, which is the regulator for broadcasting. Ofcom has teeth, it was set up by statute, and it will deliver on complaints that are genuine and have merit.
Now, it's had a lot of criticism recently, Ofcom.
It's had some criticism, not least, I have to say, in terms of what it's not doing with GB News.
Free speech!
We'll park that one. We'll park that one. So that's true, and it is under pressure because there are new broadcast stations which do appear to be very opinionated. But that's a new issue. For the press, we're talking about decades of people simply not having anywhere to go. If they want to make a complaint, a genuine complaint, there is a real problem or there's a real abuse of editorial standards.
Because suing is not really an option.
Well, that's the other thing. If the newspaper tells blatant lies about you, yes, if you've got the money, you can go to court. But how many people have actually got enough cash behind them? It costs a lot of money. Do you know how many press inquiries we've had in the last 75 years?
I'm going to guess it's 7.
I knew you'd know the answer. Absolutely right. So 7 separate inquiries into the behaviour of the press, each one on the back of abuses of editorial standards, each time coming up with very sensible, moderate recommendations for how things might change. And every single time, the government of the day has run a million miles away because they're afraid, they're frightened. And that's why you had Tony Blair in the 1990s flying to the other side of the world to meet Rupert.
First thing he did when he became PM.
Yep. No, when he became opposition leader.
Oh!
As opposition leader in the 95, 96, he flew to the other side of the world to speak at Rupert Murdoch's conference because he wanted to make sure that Rupert was on side. David Cameron became opposition leader, goes and meets Rupert Murdoch on a yacht somewhere in Greece.
Yeah.
And that is what their belief, their conviction is that these are the people, the power brokers, without whom they will not get into power. Yeah. So they run a mile in the other direction.
So is there any chance that we're going to reverse this? I mean, if the eighth attempt, are the government going to be any less frightened?
Well, if we go back to the seventh attempt, which was Leveson, and some of the stories that we heard, which were truly appalling, we think of phone hacking. Phone hacking wasn't even the half of it. So he publishes his recommendations, very moderate. It's just a sort of a regulator that is being sort of supervised, that is sort of someone's looking over its shoulder to make sure it's doing the job. No interference in free speech or the press or anything like that. And Parliament passes the first stage.
Yes.
And then the government gets frightened. And Cameron obviously has conversations with editors, and he stands up in Parliament and says, we're not going to complete this.
Yes, that's right.
It's the same story over and over again. So coming back to your question, is anything ever going to happen?
Yeah.
I actually think that we're getting to the point now, and we've got 3 lots of phone hacking litigation still going on. We've got more stuff coming out and more stuff that's going to come out. Not just The Sun, but the Mail, the Mirror. And I think people are beginning to realise that this is just...
some of this is burglary.
Yeah, absolutely. The burglary.
There are allegations, which I certainly believe, of burglary, of where they're paying people to break into people's houses and cars, to steal documents, and also to put microphones.
Absolutely. And so forget about phone hacking. We're talking about bugging live conversations.
Yeah.
We're talking about putting bugs in cars so that you can follow them and listen to what's being said. As you say, commissioning burglary, commissioning PIs, private investigators, to follow people. All of this is incredibly intrusive. I think we're reaching the point, and particularly there is a sort of shift in the political environment now. I think there's going to be a change of government over the next 2 years. The real question is whether a new government, which is going to be certainly somewhere to the left of the current one, under Starmer or whoever, is finally prepared to do something, or whether they are still so frightened that they're going to say, no, we're going to leave things as they are.
So tell me finally, why does it matter so much?
I think that's really important, because some people will look at this and will go, it's journalism. I mean, so what? If you're an architect and you break the rules, then your building falls down and somebody might die. That's important. This is just journalism. And there are 2 reasons. First of all, because we actually rely on people telling us the truth for democracy to work. But I think there's actually a much more important reason, which is that these people ruin other people's lives. It's as much about clicks on social media and on the internet as it is about what's in the newspaper.
Well, I'm going to talk to someone whose life was ruined, and then I'm going to be back to talk some more to you.
I'll look forward to it.